My wife cheated on me. On June 1st, I 34M got a call from a woman who told me my wife 32F had been having an affair with her husband 40M for 2 years. The woman shared 2 years of Facebook messages, 11,000 messages. They met up 2 times. They live 500 kilometers away from each other. Both times they had time over 3 days. I am married for 6 years and have been with my wife 13 years. We met in school. I confronted my wife, and she admitted to all of it, and immediately begged me not to end our relationship. She sent the guy a message to break things off, blocked him on all devices, deleted all of her social media accounts and email, and changed her cell number. She told me that it wasn't real. The person didn't matter, and it was out of boredom, need for attention. We spoke over a couple of days and agreed to give it a chance and work on things. We started going to a couples therapist, and she started her own therapy too. Things got a lot better and we really started to have a good relationship. One thing that played on my mind was that it couldn't have been just one guy over 2 years, as I always suspected she was messaging other men on social media. So over the 2 months I constantly asked her if there was anyone else. She swore there wasn't. Today I found out there was another man who she was messaging S-time messages, and she had been lying. It was all online, but in any case it was cheating. It happened at the same time as the first affair that I found out about. She apologized and told me the reason she never said anything was she was afraid I would end our marriage. She hasn't contacted him since D-Day either. I don't know what to do. I want to stay with my wife, I love her, but this is so much to take. What would you do in my situation? I'm lost. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, she lacks remorse. Only feels guilt. She had a chance to come clean, and admit her problems, and still hid it all. It would be foolish to continue with her because she won't truly change who she is. She's very broken, and there is a very good chance you will experience D-Day 3 if you continue. She got a second chance. She sure as hell shouldn't get a third. Redditor follow-up, she is as a child. If she can behave in a selfish manner and get away with it, she will continue to act in that selfish manner as soon as she thinks you are not looking. To save the marriage, you need to start the divorce process. Tell her that with all the lies and betrayal, the relationship you thought you had is dead. She killed the marriage by cheating and lying, and it is time to end it legally. If you are still inclined to reconciliation, tell her the divorce process can be put on hold if during the process you see genuine evidence of remorse and efforts to rebuild on her part. She broke it, she can try to fix it. If she works hard enough, you may decide to continue the marriage. Buy a copy of How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair by Linda MacDonald. If your wife does the work, that will tell you something. If she half-asses it, that will tell you something else. Redditor 2, what do you expect from who's lied to your face for 2 years? For sure you'll find more dirt as time goes by. It's not even trickle-truthing. She's trying to hide everything until you find out. Redditor follow-up, Rug swept the affair the first time and tried to reconcile. Within days he found about the other cheating, which he wants to again rug sweep. This is only gonna give his wife the impression that she can do whatever she wants and he'll be there for her. Her cheating game will be back sooner or later, and then Op will be here on this sub again making another post. Redditor 3, dude, she betrayed you twice if not more for years. She wants to stay because you offer a security blanket. You want the truth on what I would do. Divorce. She betrayed the trust. Hard to get back. Why be with someone who does not really love you? Life is way too short. She lied and trickle-truthed. Leave this Essex show. Story 2. Wife 43F cheated on me 2 years ago. We decided to stay together. Now I think I made a mistake. 2 years ago my wife cheated on me while on a work trip. She was enjoying a night out with some colleagues when she met a guy and hooked up with him, but they didn't have time. I am sure that they didn't have time because her company is very strict about bringing anyone to the rooms when someone is on official trip. They could lose their job. She confessed the next morning and we did some counseling and finally we decided to reconcile. Then COVID lockdown hit, and the whole world turned to SHT. But we kept reconciling. Here I am 2 years later, thinking that I made a mistake. Don't get me wrong, she has been the model spouse the whole time and we didn't drive each other mad during the lockdowns, so that's something. But lately I have been getting the feeling that I am living a lie. From getting up in the morning to going back to sleep during the night, I am playing a role. I feel like I am wearing a mask of someone else and the real me is lost somewhere. I don't know if I am making sense right now. I guess I just needed to get it off my chest. It's my first post in here, so I don't know if what I wrote will be accepted or not. I just want some peace. Redditors reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, you're allowed to change your mind. Redditor follow-up, yeah, and I hope Op isn't falling into the sunk cost fallacy. If anything he can walk away with more peace of mind that he tried. Redditor 2, you can't forgive her. That's okay. Sometimes people do unforgivable things to us. You are allowed to not forgive someone. But you have to accept that you can't forgive her. Let her and yourself go. Redditor follow-up, sounds like Op doesn't trust wife anymore. That's a hard thing to rebuild if at all in any type of relationship. It's okay to walk away. And most definitely, yes, accept you can't forgive someone. Sometimes being alone is happier. Redditor 3, so she would cross the line of cheating on you without any problem, but breaking the company rules is a big no-no to her. If you believe that I have a bridge to sell you. Or it says something about how she sees you in relation to her job. Job equals important, husband equals expendable. I am sure that they didn't have time because her company is very strict about bringing anyone to the rooms when someone is on official trip. So they went somewhere else for the physical part. But lately I have been getting the feeling that I am living a lie. From getting up in the morning to going back to sleep during the night, I am playing a role. I feel like I am wearing a mask of someone else and the real me is lost somewhere. Could those feelings result from a gut feeling of my wife might not have been honest with me? Redditor follow-up, this. The problem Op is having, is that he know the truth she did cheat. If she has not admitted by now that she had sex, then she may still be cheating. I am sorry. Story 3, my 33M ex-wife 33F who I divorced in 2018 is trying to ruin the first relationship I have attempted since the divorce by lying about how the divorce went down. I have been dating a wonderful woman 31F who has been a great match for me overall. We started dating in August of 2020. I got divorced in January of 2018 and took a couple years off dating, did a year therapy, traveled until COVID hit, and tried to improve myself before getting into another relationship. Full disclosure is I cheated on my ex-wife after 5 years of marriage due to the fact that we never had time. I got involved in a church around age 24, met my ex-wife. We married within a year. She wanted to save herself for marriage. We did that, but once we got married she was still never willing to have time with me. I was a horrible communicator and instead of ending things I was miserable for 5 years then cheated on her. She told everyone in the family, and every mutual friend we had, etc. Then I had to tell them the full situation and be embarrassed to have my personal info out there. But yeah, basically I still to this day have never had time with my ex-wife, once, period. She remarried the same year we got divorced and I've not tried to contact her or anything since. I thought we were done. We're not FB friends or anything anymore. On to the issue. I did tell my current partner about my past infidelity in its entirety and she was understanding, empathetic and appreciative of my honesty. However, my ex messaged my GF on FB not sure how she found her, and told her to watch out for my web of lies, and she gave a very fictional story of what happened. She basically is saying I'd need her time for years, and that she begged me for it weekly and I'd need her. It was actually the opposite. She said after 5 years of denying her, I cheated. I own up to my mistakes, but she is peddling a fiction that only shines her in a positive light and me in a negative light. How do I handle my ex in this situation? I have her blocked on everything I know of and I can't think of how she even got my GF's info. We aren't even shown as in a relationship on FB or anything like that. We have some pictures together, but our accounts are both very private. My GF has my back and believes me, due to the fact that I'm not showing signs of zero time drive and just the fact that I was honest initially. I am just wondering how people have dealt with prying exes trying to ruin their lives in the age of computing, where it seems anyone can figure out anything about anyone if they try hard enough. Story 3. I 29M found out my brother's wife's son is mine, not in the way you think, but I still need advice. Gonna say that there was absolutely no cheating involved at all. What happened was before my brother 27 meters and his wife 28F met. My brother and I are half siblings BTW, we have the same mom just different dads, so obviously our last names are different. First, did community college after high school graduation. In my second year I met ally brother's wife. She was the roommate of one of my friend's girlfriends, so we met a couple times. We hooked up at her place once and kept it going for a few months. It wasn't anything serious, just a short fling. Then after I basically dropped off the face of the earth for a while when my dad passed away. Literally I took off and went into full-on drifter, having an existential crisis for a while. No contact with anyone when I dropped from my classes. For some years after that my brother and me didn't have much contact except birthdays and stuff while I got my life together. We didn't have much before, but this was even less. Found out he got married a couple years ago. With COVID last year we started trying to have better contact and be in each other's lives. That involved meeting his wife, and I find out it's ally. They became friends after he went to the same community college I did, and that's where they got to know each other. Ally found out I was his brother only a few months ago after he showed her a recent picture of me when we were first communicating. But she waited on telling him, because she needed to talk to me first. She was trying to find me for months after I left, asking friends around because she found out she was pregnant and I was the father. She showed me pictures of my son and just that she tried hard to tell me because I had a right to know. But since I was gone she couldn't find any way to reach out. It made me feel some kind of way looking at him, but I wanted a paternity test just to be completely sure he's actually mine. Ally was completely cool about that. She understood why, since it was long time ago and we were both dumb college kids. Well, we did the test and I'm the father. I have got a kid I didn't know about because I left his pregnant 19-year-old mom to take care of him on her own. Man, and then my brother doesn't even know about this. I'm not sure how I would react, honestly. This situation is completely effed. I don't even know what to tell him. Or how to prepare for how he'll react. She thinks we should tell him together and get the whole truth out. Ally's scared to tell him too. My son was 4 when they met, but she never told my brother much about who the father was. Scared about losing my brother, scared that I'm a father and have a son. Don't know how it'll work becoming involved in my son's life, because I definitely plan to. And how that would affect their marriage. Is there really any good way to talk to my brother about it? At least in a way where it doesn't hurt our relationship too badly or their marriage. Redditors reactions update after. Redditor 1, you guys need to tell your brother immediately. No one did anything wrong until Ally figured out that you were her husband's brother. You really needed to tell him when the paternity test came back. Now, every day you wait is another day he's being lied to. You have no way of knowing how he'll react, and you can't control that anyway. Just tell him already. Answer, we plan to sometime tomorrow. I'm just very nervous about it. I know we didn't do anything wrong, but I know it's still something that would permanently affect our lives, especially his marriage. The last thing I wanted was to throw a huge curveball into his life after trying to rebuild our relationship. Even if it's a major curveball for me too, finding out I'm a father. Redditor 2, you'll need to bite the bullet and have the conversation immediately. Nobody is at fault here. Ally couldn't find you. You didn't know you had a kid. Your brother didn't know he married your old fling. It's crazy, random happenstance, but waiting to put everything out there is going to make things much, much worse to deal with. Redditor 3, I don't think you should be involved in the discussion tbh. I can understand Ally being nervous, but this is a couple issue. She should be talking with her husband, not you. The longer she waits, the more it might feel like a conspiracy whenever he finds out. In your position, I'd tell her you're available to answer any of your brother's questions, but the initial conversation and reaction need to be a private matter between the partners in marriage. Emo. Answer, he's her husband, yeah, but he's also my brother and the situation directly involves me, so that's something we have to talk about with him. Update, I-29M found out my brother's wife's son is mine, not in the way you think, but I still need advice. Kind of got busy, so didn't have the time to post until now. I've read all your comments in my last post. Meant a lot to have that support, and I decided to follow some of your advice. For starters, on the not being present when Ally told my brother the truth. You're right, that's for them to talk between each other and not my business to be there when she broke the news. He went directly to my house after to ask me if it's true. Don't know everything she told him, but still said my part of how it all happened. Obviously it was super overwhelming for him. I couldn't tell how much of it was confusion or just pissed off. My brother didn't even say anything when he left. Only thing he said was he needed time away. Ally said he wasn't at their place either. That same week they called me to come over and the three of us had a long talk. There was the chance to apologize for not telling him sooner before getting a paternity test. My brother asked me what my plans are now that I know I'm my son's father. If that means I'd like to be involved. I told him yes. Even if he doesn't know me, he's my son, and if he'd want that, I'd like to get to know him, whatever time they are comfortable letting him spend with me. We agreed to set something up between me and him. They were planning on telling him that night, and then they got back to me. Kid was curious about meeting me, so we did it that weekend. At the last minute my brother opted out of being at the house when it happened. I'll be honest. It was super awkward. I tried hard not to go in with any expectations, but part of you wants it to go well, you know. It was crazy seeing him regardless, part of me still didn't wanna believe he's really my kid. He's extremely extroverted though, which was a nice surprise, but the complete opposite of me. I'm the nervous one and he's over here asking me if I've already watched F9 or what games do I like to play. Overall it went well. Second meeting much more comfortable. I took him out for a ride so we could hit the pier since he says that's where he loves to go. It was a really great time. With my son we're slowly getting to be more comfortable. He never knew anything about his dad, so he asks me lots of stuff whenever we hang out. Honestly, he's such a smart kid. The more I like him, the more it makes me sad we couldn't do this before. I've seen him several times already, getting along great so far, so I'm hopeful for what that'll mean in the future. As for things with my brother, well, it's still not so good. He's not around on days I come over or when I'm gonna pick my son up. We haven't talked much, but it's tense when we do. He's not mad or me. Doesn't blame me either, because none of us ever had a clue about this connection. Still, it's a lot for all of us to get used to. My brother's still different with me, and he doesn't want to know about how my meetings go with my son. Things kind of took a not so good turn with them too. Don't know the full thing, only what he's told me, and I don't ask Ally. All I know is she's asked him for some time out of the house so they can have some space away. No idea if that means there's been fighting or what, but he says they're hitting a rough patch and he's not sure about where that's gonna go. I don't either, but it hasn't been that long since this all came out, so it'll be a while before things settle. It sucks and wish it didn't have to happen. For now I'm keeping my focus on my son and let them handle their personal business. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, not sure it was really approached as empathetically as it could have been. Clearly your brother feels he's being replaced after doing the hard work for however long you were gone, and doesn't sound as if either of you empathized much with his position. Nor is anyone doing so now, as it seems more important for you to build something here. I'm not surprised he's reacting as he is, and I doubt he'll stay in your life. Redditor follow-up, I think it was ducked up to tell op before talking to her husband. Redditor 2, I'm glad you're getting to know your son, but I feel really bad for your brother. He's been this boy's father figure since he was 4 years old. After 6 years he probably thought of him as his son. Not only does the kid meet his real dad, but it's his own brother. That's a lot. Redditor follow-up, I know most of these are fake, and I think that is the one sane thing to think about this. Imagine doing that to your own family. I know the op didn't directly cause this, but the carelessness of this had probably ruined the lives of 3 people. I'll be honest, I couldn't be involved with something this awful and still be okay with myself. Again, it's probably fake and we're all upset by fiction, but still awful, man. Redditor 3, yikes, I feel the worst for your brother that was this kid's dad until you stepped in. Can't imagine how he feels having his whole life imploded. I doubt you guys will ever be okay again.